Drink from it daily. A little challenge here. We have been experiencing God lift our church. How many of you would agree? Like, we've been experiencing like a lift this year in 2022. Like, can you discern that? Can you feel that? The testimonies of God's activities are skyrocketing. I mean, we've got people getting out of wheelchairs and blind eyes being opened, church. We have decades-long demonic oppression being broken off. We're seeing thick chains of the abyss broken by the power of God. I can tell when we're coming up to a higher place. And I think most of you can too. I think we probably have to be spiritually deaf, dumb, and blind not to recognize that this people has struck out of Camp 3 and are pushing for the mountain of more of God again. It's clear. But I can tell you another thing. The amount of demonic attack and spiritual opposition right now is very intense. Like, I'm sure that so many of you guys are feeling this. I can tell you our pastoral leadership team is getting hit really hard. But God's given a picture, and I want to share it with you. It's a picture of a plane that's been taking off, and it's ascending, okay, in the air. And as it is ascending, there's like this patch of air that's like a crosswind. It's like a turbulent, windy section of air, okay? And the plane is ascending. It's been ascending through this. But it's been hitting all of this turbulent, like, air. But the way God showed it, the top of the plane is actually right at the top of this, like, section of turbulent air, okay? This section of crosswind, all right? It's like there's ascending, and you kind of get the idea. Which, by the way, it's part of why I was nervous. When God told me 4 weeks ago to take several weeks off and to get in solitude, and I was like, okay, I want to, but this is also a pretty critical season. Like, there's momentum right now. I don't want to lose, momentum. But by God's grace, we haven't. It's also why, so we have this mission trip that we planned to go and work on some mission partnerships for Church of the Front Range on the other side of the globe. We planned last year, and it's coming up starting next weekend. I'm like, oh, this is bad timing. We have momentum right now. It's got me concerned. We just can't afford to stop ascending. Like, we're at a critical moment. The attack, this crosswind, it's all designed to get you to slow down, okay, to just throttle down. But God is showing, he actually showed in that vision a picture of grabbing the throttle and throttling it. Like, it's time to throttle up, to get above it, okay? And so I'm actually going to ask us to do all this, myself included. I'm asking for a 30-day throttle, all right? A 30-day throttle. A very specific challenge to seek the face of God. From now until Easter, basically from Monday until Easter in mid-April, would you be willing to participate in this 30-day throttle? I'll tell you the details. You can decide for yourself. So we're going to be traveling, right? We're going to be in India. We're going to be in Pakistan. We're getting these partnerships established, rolling. But we're going to be participating too, okay? So a number of us from our team are going to be going. So what is this? It's 30 days of shutting our eyes more than before and shutting our mouths more than before. 30 days of prayer and fasting. Don't worry, I'm not saying you have to fast 30 days straight before anybody flees out of here. But I am talking about a significant challenge. It's this grabbing the throttle, pushing it, ascending. Like, let's get above this crosswind. That's the idea. Now, you don't have to do this, but I do think for those who do, what happens when we seek God? We find him, and contentment is in having the one you love. So here's the details of what I'm inviting you into. 30 days, basically now until Easter. In those 30 days, 3 days a week of fasting and prayer. All right? So each of those 3 days would be grabbing one prayer slot in the 24/7 prayer and also fasting from at least one meal that day. Okay? So yeah, that's 3 total hours of intercession a week, and it's one meal or more fasted from on each of those days. It could be breakfast, lunch, dinner, or some combo. And of course, if you have, glycemic index issues or whatever the right medical terminology would be, you can fast from something else. 30-day throttle, 3 days a week of at least 1 hour of intercession and one meal fasted. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Here's the challenge. 30-day throttle, 3 days a week during this 30 days of at least 1 hour of intercession and at least one meal fasted from. The whole idea, like, church, let's go higher. Let's get above this crosswind. Amen? Let's do it. There is a higher place with more of God, yes, and that's our chief aim. There is more testimony for God's glory to be had than where we are at this point in time. But there is also a place that is higher, and it does have less spiritual opposition. And that's what I'm hearing from the Lord. So we're close. God has shown that we're close. We've opened up 3 prayer slots per hour in our 24/7 online. I think that opens up tomorrow or Monday. And you'll be able to access that from our website. You can take one of those cards that was on the seat when you came in as well. I do need to say, please consider taking, if there's a prayer slot where all 3 are still open, please consider taking one of those versus one of the more, kind of popular times, because we don't want to have a prayer hour where no one's praying. What are we on? Month 8 or 9 or something of non-broken 24/7 prayers. So you get the idea there. 30 days with 3 days a week of praying at least 1 hour, fasting from at least 1 meal, a 30-day throttle to get higher coming into Easter. Can I invite us to bow our heads and close our eyes?